Okay, this Homer Cocktail 14, the site. Name of this piece is going to be history and intro. Introduction there. Um, why fantasy sports website? Well, there's a shitload of Homer Cocktail sites I reserved. I have 076, Homer Cocktail 076 is a chat. Then I have basically all the way up to 20. Most of them are music, but I dabble here, dabble there, whatever. But it used to be an interest of mine. I used to play sports. And somehow the older I've gotten, the less I have friends, buddies. Coming on 40. I have less friends that are active. I'd love to play basketball still, or football. I don't care. I'm 40, and Brett Favre is this is probably his last season in the NFL. And when you're around 40, you've had a good career in any sporting field. Just about. You're lucky to make it into your 30s if you're an average player. That's what it seems like at least. But I still have it in me. I'm talking about it in my heart. And I still feel like a 20-year-old. I'd love to play pickup football. I played football in the junior high. And instead of playing fantasy sports, what me and a couple of buddies used to do, me and a couple of buddies that used to work at a pizza joint. It's about a couple miles that way. This is back before chat rooms. This is back before AOL, and this is before internet was for the common person. You're pretty much a scientist or a geek or someone on a fringe if you had something called CompuServe and Prodigy back then. But besides that, in the early 90s, the very early 90s, what we used to do is just pick win or loss. Straight up and down. And before chat rooms, it was a real cool if you had a home telephone, right? This is cordless doesn't matter. If you had a home telephone that had three-way calling. And that's what we used to do. We used to get on our three-way calling. Me and a couple of my buddies from the pizza joint down there. And we used to pick teams. And we used to keep track of, who won the most for the week, etc. We did that for a few years. And we tried more complicated structures of picking division winners and this or that, and bonus points for picking a Super Bowl. But the more complicated it got, the less people wanted to play. And I wound up last year finally going Yahoo. And I did NFL.com. I did NBA.com. I had a hockey team on Yahoo, but this site, I want to explain, in my opinion, that it's mostly about the numbers. I've watched no more than 20 full hockey games in my life. When the Anaheim Ducks were getting good, they lost the championship against the Devils that year. But I watched a lot of the playoffs that year and, learned hockey rules, with the icing and whatever the hell blue line and all that stuff is. And it's fun. It's freaking fun, man. If you learn what you're doing, there's 5 major hockey stats besides goaltending. You have your goals, you have your assists, you have your plus minus. I like the plus minus because if you're a defenseman, then you don't score a whole lot of goals, you don't get a lot of assists. But what plus minus does is it's a stat of if your team scores, you get a +1. If your team gives up a goal, you get a -1. It doesn't matter if you had anything to do with scoring or giving up the goal. It's just a general indicator. Then you have the penalty minutes. If you're in the penalty box, for some reason, it's a good thing. Which was I thought you'd get penalized for having too many penalty minutes, but no, they think you're trying harder. Then you get power play goals, power play points or whatever. But I'm not here to talk about the details of that. I'm here to talk about the history, which was the three-way calling and my couple of buddies that we used to pick games. And give an introduction of what you're going to be seeing here, because I'm going to split this off about the draft. Okay, have a good draft. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Early on in the fantasy sports, you'll always have good rookies. Okay, you'll always have, and it's not always a first-round pick. So you got to watch the early risers. And in football, there's always going to be a major injury. And usually there's going to be a quarterback, a second-string quarterback. Besides the draft, in the first 2-3 weeks, make sure you pick up the early surprises. And then I'm going to talk about trades. You know, this is just an introductory piece. I'm just skimming over this right now. And I'm going to talk about the different forms of they're played. And you don't have to know shit. Whoops, there goes my crown. You don't have to know anything really about sports. All you have to know is numbers. And if you want to win, you can win. Don't pay attention to the overall rank as much as you pay attention to the rank, for example. There's things like that. Keep an eye on your roster as far as who's playing day to day, or who has a bye week, or who might be injured. You know, they'll tell you if they're probable or questionable, etc. So we'll cover all this and have a good time. And if I get into it, we'll go into more specifics. I'm doing pretty well on my fantasy stuff, and there's Yahoo, for example. They'll pick your team for you if you really want it. Auto pick, and you could tweak with the draft order, or you could go with the live draft. And there's two different kinds where you take straight turns, and there's some where you're allotted a fantasy budget, and then you bid for the players. So we'll cover all that. In the meantime, have a good time, party on, and hey, let's win some championships, right?